the Emo Hour. Your weekly power hour of all things emo and adjacent. With your hosts, Katie and Nani.
Hello and welcome to the Emo Hour. It's your host, Nani, and my good friend, Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hey, Nani. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm back in Idaho, and I'm happy to see you. And yeah, it was a great weekend. How about you?
I am good. We're not seeing each other currently, but maybe you were trying to keep that a secret. But we're dealing with a little bit of issues, but we're able to talk to each other, so that's great.
Exactly. The power of the internet.
The power of technology. So it has been a little bit since we've seen each other, and that's because you were out of town, like you said. So I know that that's part of what's making you emo this week. So why don't you just tell me, Nani, what's making you emo this week?
Well, I was up in Montana this weekend and was at my high school reunion, which was like kind of crazy. So that's absolutely what's making me emo. I went up to Montana and had my 20-year high school reunion, which I can't even believe is like a real number at this point, because time is just an illusion and I don't even know what to say about it. And it was such an amazing experience seeing all of these people that I haven't seen in forever, at least 10 years. Some of them I got to see at the 10 years. Some of them I haven't seen in probably 20 years. And
Right.
it was just like such a great time. Like it's like no time at all went by, but all the time in the world went by. And seeing people at these different phases of life, like people had a bunch of kids, people were doing really interesting careers. People were living in Montana still. People were living abroad. Like it was the full gamut of everyone.
Good.
And it just was like really cool. The girl who organized it, she did an amazing job. There was a bunch of events that happened throughout the weekend. I obviously got to see two of my best friends from childhood, Emily and Kelsey, and both of their kids, and got to have some quality time hanging out. So that was awesome, and it was a beautiful weekend in Montana, in Missoula specifically. And we went to the Western Montana State Fair, which I thought of you because we were there playing bingo, which is like a very much like a nostalgic thing for us to do, go play bingo and drink some beer while we're doing it. And I looked to my right. There were so many different T-shirt sayings at the fair that I was just cracking up. I'm like, man, I wish Katie was here to see some of these sayings because they were so ridiculous.
Oh boy. Were they like emo or redneck or both?
More redneck. Like one shirt said, "It's a throat punch kind of day."
Oh, okay. Great. Violence is the answer.
Violence is the answer. It was just like so ridiculous, and I'm trying to think what else. There was just like some really, really ridiculous T-shirt sayings, and I wanted to write all of them down, but I forgot at a certain point because I totally got distracted with bingo and other things. But it was just like a really amazing weekend, and again, like getting to see these people from my high school years was just kind of crazy. And like obviously some people had a glow up, some people didn't. What else do I want? I mean, it's 20 years. It's so weird. What? Go ahead.
A lot changes in 20 years.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I look in the mirror and I see like a same version of myself, and like it happens gradually, right? So like I know that I don't look the same as when I was, I don't know, 16, but like the transition has just been so gradual over the years that it's not like some shocking difference. And so when you see people after 10 years or 20 years, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, wait, who are you? I, no joke, was kind of embarrassed. There were multiple times in which I went up to people and I said, I feel like a total butthead. I don't remember you. Or I was like, I'm not recognizing you. I was like, but I'm Nani. And they're like, hi, Nani. Oh my God. And the number of times that Nani shaved ice got brought up was hilarious.
Oh, love that. Love that.
Like so many times. And yeah, so I was giving a shout out to Andrea. She did all of the planning for our reunion. And so it was across multiple days. I only went to technically one event, maybe two, but the one event was in the middle, like more in the middle of the day. Went from 1 to 4:30 because they were trying to be friendly to families or with people with young kids and whatnot. We had a really good turnout. I feel like we were like between a third and a half of our class showed up, which
That's
is
great.
pretty good. And so we all got together at this brewery in Missoula, and then later in the night there was another event where people went out. And so I spent most of the time at the thing in the middle of the day, and then when we went out later, I was going out just with Emily, and so we went to a couple cocktail bars and then ended up meeting. Emily didn't even go to Sentinel High School, but she knew a lot of people because our grade schools and middle schools funneled into the high schools, and at high school level you kind of split. You could go to a couple different places. So Emily knew a lot of these people. So when we went to the bar later and saw people, she recognized people as well and said hi and caught up with folks. It's so cool to see what people, like one guy, Nate, like he's one of the senior correspondents for NPR, and like there's people who like own businesses, and there's people who
like your friend Kelsey.
Exactly. Like Kelsey owns a really, we're going to call it famous. Like it's become a famous restaurant in Montana. It was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and called Wally and Buck. And some people have moved away and moved back. And some people are, I would say like maybe half of the people were married with kids.
Okay.
And like maybe like there was a decent amount that weren't married. There was a decent amount that were single. There were a decent amount that were like married without kids. It just kind of was all over the place. And then this is, obviously just like a partial portion of the group. Like I'd be curious to see how like the entire group looks. But the craziest thing that I did.
What?
Well, so the girl who planned everything, she wasn't our like class president, and so our class president, I don't know why, but they weren't doing the work for these reunions, and so she jumped in and took the place to make sure that it happened. She's like, okay, well, this technically isn't really my job, but I'm gonna do it this year, but this is really gonna be the last year that I do it. And so when I saw her, I just thanked her for, everything she had done. And then I said, are you serious about not doing it any longer? And she was saying yes. And so I said, you know what, pass the baton, like, go ahead and pass the baton. I'll take this over. Like, I'm happy to help coordinate for the next one and figure it out. I was like, as long as you stay involved, like 20%. And then Nate, this guy that I was saying, he was like the student body president, not our class president. And he, and I was like, Nate, if you stay involved, because like the biggest thing is getting the word out and making sure that everybody is informed and is invited and whatnot. And so that was, I was like, if you guys can stay involved, like I can do the actual nuts and bolts of getting this thing together, reserving a space, like doing all the planning stuff. And so, yeah, it sounds like I don't know. It's just like me. This. It's just like me. To be like, sure, I'll do it.
No, you are the perfect fit for it. I like how you introed that by saying the craziest thing that you did, because that's not crazy in the slightest.
I know.
But I think that's great. And I think you will do a great job. And it also doesn't need to be a big production for a reunion, I think, and the next one will be in 10 years. Just get everybody together, do something fun. A little bit of effort goes a long way, like we had talked about before.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I was going to say is our friend Corey, I think, had mentioned this to both of us when we were all together. He said his high school reunion has been on the Friday after Thanksgiving, or like the weekend after Thanksgiving. And I think that is kind of brilliant, honestly, because so many people go home for Thanksgiving, if their parents are still living in the area. And so they're home for Thanksgiving, and then they kill two birds with one stone by doing a reunion. So consider that.
I know, that's so smart. That was not lost on me when he shared that with me. I was like, mental, like light bulb. Yeah. Shattered in my brain. I'm like, why isn't everybody doing this? I mean, it wouldn't work for me personally because that's not my travel plans, but right. I feel like it would help the overarching group of people. So
yeah. And it's like, it's just such a good idea. And so many reunions happen in the summer, which makes sense, but everybody's just so busy in the summer with all kinds of other stuff already. So
yeah.
Anyway, an idea that I thought was wonderful.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like you're going to ask me this question, so I'm just going to answer. I'm going to answer the question before you even ask me, which is, were there any love connections or sparks that were created at my 20-year high school reunion? Like, did I find the person that I've been looking for has been in front of me for the last 20 years?
Well, did you?
The answer is no.
Quite the lead up. I did ask you if you reconnected with some old love interests. So I already knew that. I wasn't necessarily going to call you out on the pod about that.
No, I mean, you know me, I'm pretty open. No, I like I said, some people had some glow ups. There was a couple handsome men there. That it just was great to see everybody. Like, no, it, and I also think that not everybody was there. So maybe my long lost just didn't have the ability to be there. But
Ooh, maybe.
yeah, maybe they were off and away. But I mean, I did stick my foot in my mouth a couple times.
Well, we
Throughout
all
the
do.
weekend. But you know, like, such is life. Like, we're humans, so that's fine.
Yeah, well, my favorite question to ask strangers, and I guess these people aren't really strangers to you. Maybe some of them kind of are, though.
Yeah.
My favorite question to ask is, what's your deal?
Yeah, what's your deal?
Because it just can be interpreted so many ways. And
No, one of my favorite times passed with you is when we were in Denver at that pool at that hotel before we went to Blink. We were like in the pool having a margarita or something, and you just turned to your left and you're like, "So what's your deal?" I'm like, Jesus. To like complete strangers. It was so good.
It's just, it tests a reaction. I kind of like it. Some people get automatically defensive, and then I kind of just think that's funny, which probably pisses them off more. But but I do it to people that I, don't really think I'm going to see again. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh my God. Amazing. But yeah, so that was my weekend. It was so amazing. And, one thing I should say really quickly, though, like what should have been making me emo is the fact that last night I learned that you think that mint chip ice cream is like the most disgusting thing in the world. And I think that it is the most delicious flavor in the world. So there's also that going on in the back of my brain as I'm thinking about high school reunions. But I'm like, I can't even believe that you feel
groundbreaking for you
so strongly about mint chip ice cream.
I mean, about anything mint chip, like sometimes that's what you get at restaurants, is like at Olive Garden. I think that's what they do is like mint and chocolate. And I don't like that combination at all. I like them separately. I do not like them together.
Get out. So even like an Andes mint, which is like,
nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I do not like it at all.
That is crazy. I cannot believe that.
Well, I didn't know it was so crazy.
The onion layers of Katie. Oh,
there's
man.
so many layers.
Let's keep on peeling those puppies back.
You said that the other day when I told you that I was a bartender for quite some time, that I had a bunch of layers. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, life layers, right? We all have a lot of them. But I totally didn't know that about the bartending. Or maybe you had told me and it just like went in one ear and out the other because it's like, I don't know. It's not the craziest thing, but in my brain, I'm like, man, that would have been really fun to go to a bar and have you be the bartender.
Well, I hope that it was for the people that experienced it.
I bet it was. I
mean, I was bartender server at like a bar and grill type place. So I did more serving in my life than bartending, but I did a fair amount of bartending as well.
What was like the hard, like, did you make hard drinks or were you more like opening a can of beer type bartending?
People don't, at the place that I was at, people do not order very complicated drinks, generally speaking.
Okay, so we're talking like vodka soda, glass of wine type situation.
Margarita, maybe. Yeah, I mean, like, it's pretty standard stuff, not like fancy cocktails, that's for sure.
Okay, sweet.
And sometimes I'd have to look something up to make it. But I mean, I made martinis. I've made other things too. It's just no, it wasn't a fancy like upscale cocktail bar, that's for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Love
but
that.
Anyway, is that all of your what's making you emo, or did you have more
Yeah.
to share?
I mean, I feel like I could do a deep dive and tell you all the ways that I embarrassed myself at my reunion, but like, do we really need that? I don't know that we really need that.
I don't know. The
Um,
listeners can let us know. Send us a message on Instagram at the Emo Hour if you want more.
yeah, let me know if you want me to really just put myself on blast. But no, overall, it was really fun. It was great to see people. Feel like I'm just repeating myself here, but like, if you have a reunion coming up, just go. Like, I we debated it back and forth on like, should we go, should we not go? And all along, I kind of internally knew I was gonna go, but one of my friends was on the fence, and I was like, you know what? You get one of these every like 4,000 days, right? Or one every 10 years. It's literally a day or like a couple hours out of your day. If it's not too far and it's somewhat like doable, like you should just go because these people are like I've known some of these people for so long. It was just like seeing Nate was probably well that seeing Grace was the highlight cuz I talk to Grace pretty regular, like decently regularly still, but like talking to Nate cuz I never see him anymore and reconnecting with him. I'm like next time I'm in LA, I'm going to call him and check in with him and go grab lunch or something. Um oh wait, Katie, I forgot to tell you one other thing.
Okay.
My worlds collided, or maybe our worlds collided almost.
Oh, I did
So,
know about this.
yes, I told you about this when I was driving. Oh, and I forgot about that too. So I, sorry, scatterbrained. Um, so when I got to the reunion, one of the first questions I was talking to this guy RJ and who I went to high school with, and he was like, "Where are you living these days?" I was like, "Oh, Sun Valley." And he's like, "Sun Valley." He's like, "I was just with a bunch of people from Sun Valley last night." I'm like, "Wait, what?" He's
Yeah,
like,
in
"What's
Missoula.
yeah, in Missoula." He's like, "We just went to My Morning Jacket and we went out for, a long night, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Do you know Logan?" I'm not going to say any last names just for sake of privacy, but he's like, "Do you know Logan?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know Logan."
Yeah.
I was like, I know Logan a lot because he's part of a group of people that bought a local theater here in the Valley, and Katie and I were just at the Battle of the Bands there, and anyways, we're all connected. But how weird is that a guy that I went to high school and a guy that I'm friends with here in town are friends with each other, and they went to a concert that night? Like, it's so weird.
That is weird. Yeah, that is crazy. Small world.
Small world. And then the other thing is, how dare I not say that I drove down to Salt Lake City. So the weekends, so Thursday went up to Montana, Friday all day Montana, Western Montana State Fair, and then Saturday was reunion. And then Sunday, I hopped in my car, drove south, went to Salt Lake City, directly to the USANA Amphitheater, well, formerly Amphitheater, the same place that you and I saw Matt Rife handful of weeks ago. And I saw Rufus Du Sol, who is one of my favorite EDM groups.
Hmm.
They operate more like a band than a DJ. Had tickets in the pit and had the most magical experience. It was a beautiful production. It was like 80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, feeling all the good vibes. Everybody around me was so happy. I had like perfect sight lines. It just was a beautiful night, and I like, what a cherry on the top of a weekend for me. Like that, I think I texted you being like, I'm having so much fun. I'm so glad that I came. And
Yes, you did. You said you were so happy. I'm so glad that you went because it was not, it was definitely out of your way.
yeah,
But I'm so glad that you went and you loved it.
yeah. And I didn't tell you, or maybe I told you this, I can't remember, but I saw Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
You said that you saw one, but I didn't ask who. I don't
Yeah.
watch the show. So,
So Whitney Rose, I think is her name, is married to like a dude that's kind of older than her. And so and I kind of feel bad like saying it visually like that, but that's kind of like the claim to fame there, because she looks like she's, I don't know, maybe like 20 years younger. So I recognized him, not her, because he was wearing like a backwards Gucci hat, super tan, very white teeth, like scruff. He looks exactly like he does on TV. I'm forgetting his name. And then he was standing there with a girl with blonde, like a blonde bob, and I'm like, oh my God, that has to be Whitney. And so, yeah, it was just this like wild little like, oh my God, people in Salt Lake City are famous because they're on TV. Like, this is the weirdest concept ever because it's Salt Lake City.
Did you see any of the Mormon Wives?
No. Well, you mean wait, Mormon Wives like the TV show?
Like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, yeah.
I've literally never watched that show.
Oh, it's so good.
Really?
So good, yes.
I will watch some of it one of these days. But yeah, no, I would not be able to pick them out of any crowd. But
gotcha.
But yeah,
and those people were at the concert?
Yeah, they were in the pit too as well with me. So it was it was a vibe. It was such a vibe. I love Rufus Du Sol. So, and then I came back up yesterday and here we are.
Well, good. Welcome back to Idaho again.
Thank you.
You did a 3-state tour.
Yeah, a little tri-state tour. Well, I took plenty of time here. I'm so sorry. I need to know, what is making you emo this week, Katie?
Well, I told you I had a couple thoughts like circulating in my head, and I think I've landed on it. Okay. So what's making me emo this week is, I went camping last weekend.
Oh yeah.
Which we only were like 20 minutes from our condo. We went up north a little bit, but literally like 20 minutes away, and we felt like we were in the middle of nowhere, which is just a statement to how cool of a place that we live in, But True. We had some friends that already got a spot that was right on the river, and they invited us out, and then we threw the invitation out to like a handful of other people, and like quite a few other people joined us. So we ended up having a pretty big group, which was fun. A ton of 3 kids, a ton of dogs. And it was just a nice weekend camping in general, but specifically I want to point out I guess it's called the Scorpion Moon. That's what my friend Elizabeth was saying. So it was a Scorpion moon the Friday night that we were there. And it was very full and bright moon. And the next night it was too. And for some reason I stayed up past midnight both nights, which is kind of unlike me nowadays, especially 2 nights in a row. But we were around the campfire and kind of watching the moon. We were kind of in a canyon, a big canyon, but the moon would be rising above the mountains on one side of us slowly, and we would be able to watch the moonshine light up the mountains on the other side and just get like closer and closer to us.
Oh my God.
And it was just so bright. And it was one of those nights where when the moon is finally up, it's like you can see around you. It's kind of like daylight. It's not obviously as bright as the sun would be, but like you don't need a flashlight, you don't need anything, like you can just see everything. But we spent both nights around the campfire just watching the moon like light up the mountains that were far away from us, and then slowly that line of moonshine would like get closer to us. And it was great to just be in the moment with friends and nature on something like that, where we're actually paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like that doesn't happen very often. And we were like guessing, the line of the moonshine shadow was like coming closer and closer. And we were guessing, is it going to be 10 more minutes? Is it going to be 20 more minutes? Is it going to be 30 seconds? Where exactly is it coming up over the mountains? Like we were just very into it, and I just think that doesn't happen very often. And it's nice to kind of get away and disconnect and
slow down
and appreciate things like that.
Yeah. Oh my God. That sounds amazing. That sounds like you were so present and like, I don't know, just living in the land, living off the land. But the whole time you were telling me the story, I was resisting the urge to be like, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
That's amore.
Amore.
Yeah, well, and we all had some drinks and stuff too, so that was part of the fun of it too, as we're, maybe not totally sober as we're doing this, which just made it fun too.
That sounds amazing. I'm jealous that I didn't get to experience that, because it sounds incredible. Just like one of those beautiful Idaho nights that we know so well. We just want everybody to experience,
Yeah, and I guess it wasn't the Scorpion moon; it was the Sturgeon moon.
Sturgeon, as in a fish?
Yeah, apparently, and I haven't looked it up, but apparently that's like when sturgeon are harvested during the sturgeon moon. I don't know. But regardless, it was something I've never heard of. But all that's to say that it was a big and bright moon.
I don't know the differences between moons, but yes, big and bright. I can track that.
Big and bright.
Big and bright.
Yeah, so that was quite the long intro for both of us. I think we should just get into the topic of the day. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea because we weren't planning on making it too long of an episode, but alas, here we are.
We are good at talking.
We are. So Hayley Williams, you brought this to my attention. I don't know. You want to take it from here, and I'll kind of chirp in from time to time because I did do a decent amount of research around her release strategy, and so I'm happy to talk about that. But she came out with some new music, and you and I are very excited about it. We both listened to it independently of one another, but we haven't talked about our opinion of it to each other yet because we wanted to save it for the podcast. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, well, so Hayley Williams, the lead singer of Paramore, we'll start with that. She did release these songs in a very interesting way, and we'll just give a quick summary. There's 17 songs that she released on her website that fans had to have an access code to listen to, and that was at the very end of July. I think it was July 28th.
Yep.
And I did not experience that, but because they were removed like 2 days later from the website. But what I heard and read and whatever was that the music player on her website was very old school, and it was kind of overloaded with a bunch of people trying to get on there and listen, so it wasn't even working half the time. It sounded like you could kind of rearrange the songs that were released on the player, like to your own liking. But then they were removed from that player 2 days later, and then ultimately released like on all streaming services. So they're on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. But they have been released as singles instead of an album, which is interesting. And there's 17 of them, which would be a pretty long album. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's interesting that they're all singles because what you have to do is either make it, if you want to listen to all of it, you have to either make it a playlist yourself or go find people have made their own playlists of all of these singles. And I just think that that's interesting that people are doing that because I feel like setting up a track list is like a very significant part of making new music and creating an album. I mean, I'm not a musician, so I can't speak from experience, but that's something that a lot of thought generally goes into.
Yeah, and track listing is a form of art in its own right. So yeah, I'm with you. And one thing that I saw is like people have been referring to them as singles, but also like standalone songs because they each have their own artwork too. It's not even like they're all sharing the same artwork. They all have different artwork. And then she released all of this stuff. I think you said this, but on August 1st is when all the music was actually like officially released, but not as the album, as individual songs. But that was on streaming platforms. But she did it through her new independent imprint called Post Atlantic. Mm-hmm. And so it's all on her own imprint at a label, which is super cool.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, it's all of the artwork I enjoy. It's all very thematic. It's like grayscale photos of her with some sort of yellow accents. Mm-hmm. And like, I do enjoy the artwork, but it's just a very interesting strategy. And hopefully you and I have talked about bringing somebody on to talk to us about that strategy in particular and about releasing music strategies in general. So hopefully we'll get to do that.
Yeah.
But do you have any thoughts based on your time in the music industry about why they might have made that choice?
Yeah.
These choices?
I don't know. I just realized I don't know that we talked about the tie-in with her hair dye company too, because originally the access that was given to the 17 tracks on her website, they needed like a 16-digit code that was given to people if they purchased like this limited edition Ego shade from Good Dye Young, which is her hair dye
temporary
company.
hair dye brand.
Yeah. So, because some of my opinions kind of tie to that a little bit, but I think that everybody nowadays is trying to come up with a new, fresh, exciting way to engage fans. And I think that people will try all sorts of different ways to release music. I don't know that I have like the strongest opinion as to whether this was like a good or bad, because I think it's just different. I kind of like that it went back to like OG days of going to like her own site, albeit it crashed, right? But like I like the idea that she went to fans first and then went to streaming, because I think that it created some sort of buzz around it. I don't know the purpose necessarily of doing it as 17 standalone tracks, or standalone singles. I think that the beauty, I don't know, like for me, the album is still king, right? The album is still the I don't know, like when I think of music, you always go back to an album. And so it's weird to me that there's no album attached to this. It's just a group of songs. So that part, I don't know exactly what the thought is there, but maybe it's just that like all of them were so standalone that like it wasn't like one body of work. It was many bodies of work that didn't need to be put in the same bucket. But like what you were saying, because of that, people are rearranging their own way, which is beautiful in its own right. But like if you wanted to have the songs listened to in a particular order, I don't know, that part's just a little weird for me. I think it's a really cool, interesting way to release music, but I don't know. Like I really want to know like the specific strategy behind it. Like were they hoping that like certain things were going to happen? Like one thing that's really important in the music industry is getting on playlists, because the more playlists you're on, like the more you're exposed to other people. So maybe like releasing all of these songs as individual things, it made people create more playlists, and more playlists are being followed. I don't know. I was thinking about this like playlist angle that could be happening, but
I think that makes sense. I think that's definitely a possibility, because you can't really go listen to the albums all in order. You have to seek them out individually. And if you decide, you love half of these, so you're going to add it to your favorite playlist, then I think that's a very real possibility.
yeah. So I don't know. I can't say like, was it a good, like, we're not looking for an answer of like good or bad. I think it was really interesting, and I'm just dying to know more about it. And that's kind of what brought up this whole idea, what you said of like talking to a couple friends. I'm actually hoping maybe 2 people will hop on the pod with us and talk to us specifically about like album releases. I was thinking together it'd be a great conversation for us to have with them, because I want all the different opinions on this. But yeah, people are definitely talking about it, and it's all a buzz on the internet. I want to know your take on it. Not having the music industry background, what did you think of it?
I mean, I just think it's interesting. Like, I don't know that I have much else to say about it. I just think it's interesting, and it's probably just a way to connect with people, or try to connect with people more, like you mentioned. I don't really have an other insight other than that.
I guess my question is like, is it annoying to you that like you can't just go to Hayley Williams Spotify or Hayley Williams Apple Music and press play and hear all the songs in order? Like you have to seek out a playlist to have them all put together. Because you were actually the one to send me a playlist, which I was grateful for.
Yeah, like annoying is a strong word. I wouldn't call that annoying, but again, I think it's interesting, and I do fully recognize that organization of tracks for an album is an art in and of itself, like you said. So this is kind of, I guess, allowing the fans to create their own art in a way, if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah.
And, I kind of looked at a few different playlists today with different organizations, and I haven't listened to different playlists, but I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, do we want to like, how in depth do you want to get here? Do we want to talk about all the songs? Do we want to call out some songs that we personally enjoyed ourselves, like, and talk about the music?
Yeah, I think talking about all of them is a little too much, just because there are 17 songs, and that's quite a few. I highlighted a few that I wanted to talk about, and I think we can play little clips of certain songs once we're talking about it. But in general, I would just say, like, off the top, the songs are interesting and not at all what I would have expected. And I've really spent quite a bit of time just in my head thinking about it because it's just totally unexpected and I'm not really sure what to think about it.
Yeah.
It's not at all like the Paramore that we know and love, but I do think Paramore's more recent stuff that I haven't really gotten into is not, again, not like the Paramore that we know and love. So it's not surprising. I mean, people grow and want to try new things, and it's great. I mean, I enjoy it, absolutely. It's just kind of interesting. I think that's the word of the day.
No,
for it.
I'm with you because I think it has all of us thinking a little bit more than we normally would when we get an album release. And I think, yeah, yes, I'm with you. Definitely the word of the day. So I want to hear, like, were there any standouts for you? Like, what's your take? Unless you want me to go first, I'm happy to talk.
I can start. So the first one that I listened to is the song called "Kill Me." Let me play a little bit of it.
Eldest daughters never miss their chances to learn the hardest lessons again and again.
Okay, so that's the first 20 seconds of that song, but that's the first one I listened to. It's the first one on that playlist that I sent you. It's probably my favorite out of, like, so far, I would say. You know, it's taken some time to make it through all of these songs, but I would say right now that that's my favorite. It's a little funky, poppy, it's a little vibey, it's all of that. Do you have thoughts on that song?
Yeah, that's at the top of the playlist that I think you and I are both listening off of.
Yeah,
So
that's what,
yeah. So I'd heard two. I heard Mirtazapine, if I'm pronouncing that right, and Glum separately, outside of and Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party. So I'd heard those three tracks separately before starting this playlist. So I'd actually heard those three songs first, but in my, like, listening session, Kill Me was the first one. I really liked it. I feel like her voice, I mean, it's always on display, but I feel like this production really put her voice at the forefront, whereas we're used to hearing it with, like, power chords and, you know, more of like that emo backdrop or that alternative rock backdrop. So I love hearing her voice in this setting.
Yeah, I do too. And I mean, to that note, if this were a song that I were to just hear on the radio, I would not know that it's Hayley Williams.
Oh, really?
And maybe that's just because I am not like a diehard Paramore fan, you know, and I'm just not like as familiar. But if I were to hear this song in the wild, I would not guess Hayley Williams.
I would be able to pick it out of the bunch, no question. I know her voice like a thumbprint almost. But that actually brings me to the next song that I think we should talk about because of that, which is Glum. And this song actually was the one that really got my brain confused because...
Okay, let me play a little bit.
Yeah.
In the wake of your sunshine, I've never felt so glum. Think I'm made up of moonlight. Don't reach quite as far, but I still show up.
Okay, that was some Glum.
Oh my God, I want to just hear all of that song right now. Maybe you can tell that I have a bias towards that song. So what was tripping me out is I don't know what they did to her voice because I've Googled the internet. I've scoured everything I can possibly scour, including ChatGPT. And I haven't gotten anything back that shows me that there's any other singer on that song. But they had to have done something to her voice to alter it. Because that's probably her singing, but I'm like, who is this? Because did you get that too?
Yeah, what I wrote down, I took notes, just a couple words like for each of these songs, but what I wrote for Glum is weird electronic and auto tune.
Yes, well, it's like they pitched her voice up and made it sound a little mousy, or they I don't know exactly what they did to her voice, but it does not sound like her. It sounds like a guest vocalist. And then the chorus actually has her in her natural tone. So
Yeah.
you get like the Hayley Williams vocals that we were used to, plus this like altered version. But I love that song. That was my favorite song out of all of the 17
Oh, okay.
by
Interesting.
far. And I think it's the chorus for me. That's what got me.
Okay. Yeah. I did not highlight Glum as one of my favorites, so this is showing our different music tastes.
Right? You gotta love
But
that.
again, I mean, I enjoyed all of them.
Yeah. They
Um,
they all do stand alone, I would say. Back to kind of what we were talking about a little bit ago.
Well, the next one I highlighted to talk about is mirtazapine. I don't know how to say it either. That's an
Mirta-
antidepressant.
yeah, mirtazapine. That's how I pronounce it. But maybe
I think you're right. I'd have to listen to the song again to see how she says it. Let me play a little bit of that one.
For when the heart's a sinking stone, that smash and fuse into your bones. For
Okay, that's mirtazapine. Mirtazapine, I'm going to say it wrong again.
mirtazapine. Not that I mean I was on antidepressants for a short chunk of my life. So I think that modern medicine is very important. So I kind of love that she's singing about this thing that is obviously very important to her and has been a kind of a life altering thing that she has introduced into her I don't know into her life.
Yeah, and I mean, it very much is talking about mirtazapine as a something that she needs in her life. It's almost like a friend that you need in your life is kind of how it's presented. But I just really enjoy the overall vibe of that song. It is like I wrote down. It's faster. There's some synth. It's a little grungy. This and a couple other songs that I want to talk about just so much bring me back to like the late 90s and early 2000s.
It's so funny that you were talking about grunge because that's one thing that I made note of is the fact that it felt like very 90s, grungy. It felt like late 90s, early 2000s. And I heard a lot of Alanis Morissette kind of vibe, kind of that like angsty kind of. I also thought lyrically a lot of her songs too, because I know you kind of grouped a few songs together when you were giving that description. I feel like a lot of her songs are so lyrically forward and they're like really saying things. Like it's not fluffy music. It's talking
Yeah.
about mental health. It's talking about racism in America. It's talking about all of these things that we need to be talking about that we're just kind of skimming over and this was like her portfolio to put out into the world and say like, yeah, my name's Hayley Williams and I stand up for things and I'm going to sing about them. And I don't know, it's a really powerful body of work I think she put out.
Yeah, I think so too. But this song and a few others did just really take me back to late 90s, early 2000s, and specifically to like teen rom-com movies.
Oh, yes, like 10 Things I Hate About You or something.
I wrote 10 Things I Hate About You. I wrote Josie and the Pussycats. I wrote She's All That. Like, and I also wrote Alanis Morissette, so it's funny that you brought her up. Because it's just it's throwback vibes, and
Yes.
I have more to say about that too. But what's the next song that you highlighted?
You don't even know how happy that's making me right now. It's so good. I would say the next one would probably be Ego, Death at a Bachelorette Party.
Okay,
'Cause that's
let me play a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a long intro on this one. I'm going to skip through a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Singer's bar. No use shooting for the moon. No use chasing waterfalls. Can only go up from here. Can only go up from here.
Okay, that's a little clip of that.
Well, I really enjoy that song. That one took a while for it to grow on me. At first, I was like, I do not like this at all. And now every time I hear it, I'm feeling it gets groovier and groovier for me. For me, there was a weird connection because of my time in Nashville. And so that was like, there were so many things that she was talking about. There's a lot of actually Tennessee and Nashville references because she spends a lot of time in all of this music, I felt, and a lot of Southern, South, Nashville, Tennessee references. But I love that because as she was talking about these bachelorette party bars, karaoke bars, like I knew the places that she was talking about or likely referencing, because I don't think that any of it's confirmed like what places she was talking about, but I know all the places that she in theory could be talking about. So it created really beautiful imagery for me personally. And then just talking about like her ego and like the death of an ego, I don't know. I lyrically, I really loved that song, and you sent me that visualizer, like music video ish thing, and it was like her and some friends bopping around Lower Broadway in Nashville, and probably in like Printer's Alley area of Nashville, and
going to Santa's Pub for the karaoke bar.
yes, and Santa's Pub, that's right, and Santa's Pub, the best. It just kind of brought me back to my days in Nashville, and I don't know. There's a lot of ego in the music business, and so I thought it was really interesting that she like called out her own ego in a way. Also, I feel like this is very profound music, and it's like very human music, and it's really bringing like all of her psyche to the forefront, and like a lot of human psyche to the forefront. I'm loving
I mean,
it.
it's also about like the death of Nashville as she knew it, because she moved to Nashville at a pretty young age. I did a little research on that today, or technically to Franklin, I think it was in Tennessee, but has spent like most of her adulthood, in Nashville. And there's a lot of lyrics in that song about how Nashville has changed, and basically it's sold out, and it doesn't have the soul that it used to. The music video
agree.
and the music video, again, just have to say, it's such throwback vibes, down to like the video quality, because it looks like it was recorded in the 2000s. She's wearing like baggy jeans like you would in the 2000s. The car that she's in looks like an old car from the 2000s. Like there's just so much of what's going on feels very much like throwback to, 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah, like her formative years. Our formative years. What am I saying? It's all of our formative years.
Yeah, I mean, she's our age.
Yeah, we're the same age. It's I'm digging all of it. Is really all I'm this is my long form of saying that I really like what she's doing here, and I like what she's standing for. Did you have some other songs you wanted to call out?
I do. Are you done with the ones you were going to?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I can talk about any of them.
Okay.
But I don't. Yeah, I have specifics.
I have a few. Yeah. So this is something I learned today. Maybe you knew this, but the song "Hard." I'm going to play a little bit of that.
The way you held my face, I swear I've softened for the very first time in my life. Fist unclenched and my guard started dropping. We kissed quick before you pulled me inside.
Okay, so that's "Hard." I mean, that's got a little funk in there, I think. Again, it takes me back to like late 90s, 2000s vibe. What I learned today is that there's references in that song to Chad from Newfound Glory, who she was married to for a year.
Yep.
Did you know that?
I did know that because they were dating. One of the years that I was on Warped Tour, Newfound Glory and Paramore were on it. But I have vivid memories of being in Walmart at like 2 a.m, running into her and Chad in the alleyways or the aisleways of Walmart. So like I
Love that.
remember when all of this stuff was happening.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. But there's some references about her getting married in combat boots. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Which was her marriage to Chad, and it sounds like he cheated on her, so they got divorced. Is kind of what I gathered. But there's also a song called "Disappearing Man" that I think has some lyrics that are directed towards Chad and the marriage as well. So I'm going to play this one too. This was another song I highlighted to talk about. So here's "Disappearing Man."
Now I understand how you feel abandoned at a depth you would never share with me.
So that just again transports me back to like
Man.
those teen
For
rom-coms.
real, like so like late 90s, early 2000s, like grungy pop.
Yeah.
It's I did Google it. 2007 is the year that I was referencing. Both Newfound Glory and Paramore were on Warped Tour.
When did they get married though? I thought it was much later than that.
I think it was much later. I just remember them dating because there was a lot of. I feel like all the rumors were kind of spilling around that like there was some angst, we'll call it, in the band because of boys and girls being in bands together, and like she was dating Chad. Was that his name? Is that what you said his name was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of drama around all of the dating stuff, but I don't remember what year they got married. I can find out fast though.
I thought it was like 2016, 17.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I feel like they were together forever.
Yeah. Well, I think really the last one that I just had to mention, and I can play it or we can skip it, but is Discovery Channel.
Play it.
Okay. I don't think the part I'm going to mention, I don't think is in the intro, but here's a little bit of Discovery Channel.
Barbaric bliss, teeth gnash when we kiss.
So that's very like 90s alt rock to me.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm going to skip through and maybe find the part that I want to reference.
And me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
So
I know.
that's Bloodhound Gang.
I know. I love that. You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals.
Yeah, that was like the last thing I ever expected to hear.
Yeah. But you're so right though. It's literally, wait, what were the words that you like 90s pop alt rock? What did
I said alt rock, yeah.
I mean, this is like the definition of K-rock music.
Tourists stumble down Broadway, Cumberland keeps claiming bodies. All our best memories were bought and then turned into apartments. The club with
So actually, when I made the comment earlier about the ego death at a bachelorette party, talking about kind of Nashville losing its soul, I think that's actually really more of True Believer, but I think both of the songs kind of touch on that. And I think kind of just to circle back to my initial comments about like, I didn't really know what to think. I still don't know what to think. I think it's because there's so much in here and I have listened to it all a couple of times, but I think it really needs to be listened to more to be understood, I guess, and listened to and thought about more because there really is a lot. There's a lot of really deep subjects in these songs.
I'm very impressed by this body of work. I think we're going to be referencing it for this is, it feels very important to me, and the things that she's talking about, whether, albeit mental health or racism or the concept of like things, very important historical landmarks in Nashville being torn down and putting apartments on top of that. It's just, I feel like we're in this angsty period of life right now. And you and I've talked about how we think that there might be a direct correlation between rock music or the resurgence of rock music and the undercurrent of angst, I think, or whatever it may be in the political climate.
Yeah, just kind of counterculture.
Yeah, counterculture. That's a great word. And so
I'm good at words.
yeah, right. And so I don't know. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. When I first listened to it, I wasn't really sure what I was listening to. And I was a little like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then the more I listened to it, the more I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And again, like I feel like it's an important body of work, and we're going to be referencing this music for some time.
Yeah, well said. And I'll just circle back to kind of my comment at the beginning of this, which is I think similar to yours, is when I first listened, I was like, I don't really know what to think. And I still don't really know what to think.
Yeah.
But I think that that's mostly because there's so much here. I mean, 17 songs is a lot, but just the subject matter contained in these songs is a lot too. So it's going to take several listens and a lot of time thinking about it, because it is deep, and there's a lot going on here. And I'm looking forward to seeing more music videos come out too, because as you know, I do love music videos.
Who doesn't love to have a visual with some music? You know what I'm saying?
I sure do.
Yeah, me too. Well, should we get into it? We've talked quite a bit about Hayley and her music, and I know that we're probably not done talking about it on the pod, but for today's purposes, we should probably just get into emo lyric of the day.
We should. What is your emo lyric of the day, Nani? If you're ready.
I am.
If you're not, I can go.
No. I'm totally ready, and it's no surprise here. I chose Glum. So it's off this, it's not a record, so I can't even reference a record. It's just Glum by Hayley Williams. The lyric goes, do you ever feel so alone that you could implode and no one would know?
Ooh, wow.
So
that's a strong one, and you kept it short. Good for you.
I know, right? Who am I? So yeah, I'll just read it one more time for sake of how we do things here. But
yeah.
It's Hayley Williams, her song Glum, and it says, do you ever feel so alone that you could implode and no one would know?
That's a great lyric. It's very sad. It's very glum.
It's so sad. Emo. It's so sad, but I also think it provides this narrative of like mental health and so many things going on in the world. And I don't know. Again, I keep referencing this thing of like this important body of work that she's put out, but it's a very powerful lyric to me, and it's obviously very emo.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. What about you? What's your emo lyric of the day or of the week?
Mine is actually from a song that we didn't even talk about. It's from Negative Self-Talk, which is a song that I enjoy. It's more indie vibes, I would say, and it's very much about mental health and, negative self-talk. I think that's in the title for you. So the lyric, I picked a long one. So you picked a short one, I picked a long one. Mine is, home is where we were loud, used to sing down the hall to your signature sound. Now it's just so quiet. I hate this gorgeous house. Can't hear my heart beat over emptiness now.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's like, that paints imagery for me. Will you read it one more time?
Yeah. Home is where we were loud, used to sing down the hall to your signature sound. Now it's just so quiet. I hate this gorgeous house. Can't hear my heart beat over emptiness now.
I wonder what that's in reference to. Like, was that when she and Chad were living together?
I don't know.
Huh.
Could be. Or any other, live-in relationship, possibly.
Yeah, I haven't really been following her romantic relationship aside from Chad, but she was with Chad forever, so...
Yeah.
Ooh, who wins? I think I'm going to give it to myself.
Okay. You kept it short, which is good.
I think it was the shortness and also just the deep, deep sadness of that lyric that got me this week.
It did hit hard, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Go check out these 17 singles or 17 tracks. They're all available on all the streaming services now.
Right.
You can find multiple playlists that kind of do their own orders. You can make your own playlist with your own order if you want to spend the time to do that. But check it out because it's really an interesting body of work, and I think we will be talking about it again in the future, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yay. Well, I'm glad that we both ended up choosing songs from this collection of songs that she put out, and go us. I feel like there's still so much more to talk about. We just touched the tip of the iceberg, if you will. But that was fun talking to you about this music.
We'll do more album reviews. There's lots of new stuff coming out in the coming months, so I'm excited.
Truth. Well, yay. Anything else?
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Emo Hour.
We're always the best at ending this. I love it so much. Yeah, follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Emo Hour. See you next week. Happy Hump Day.
Okay, bye.
Bye.